everyone, and welcome back to the Traversing Entrepreneurship podcast, a show for business owners who set out to do something different and did not stop there. This is Derek DeLomo, coming to you from Traverse City, Michigan, the city that inspired the name of this show. With over 19 years of experience in the finance industry, I've heard my fair share of success as well as horror stories in business. On this podcast, I enjoy sitting down with a variety of entrepreneurs to talk about what it takes to build a successful business and everything that comes along with doing something different and paving your own way in life. In today's episode, I'll be interviewing Molly Rose Speed. She's a systems strategist, online business architect, and the founder of Virtual Assistant Academy and Virtual Assistant Management. Her specialty is implementing the right systems, automations, and support so business owners can step out of the weeds and focus on growth. Join us today as we discuss her deep experience building scalable online businesses and how she helps entrepreneurs streamline their operations, increase profitability, and create companies that run smoothly behind the scenes. Welcome to the show, Molly. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Derek. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So you and I have talked already before, so I know a little bit about your background and in your trajectory, but our listeners don't. So can you give our listeners a sense of how you got started and maybe what life was like before you started the Virtual Assistant Academy and Virtual Assistant Management?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Iowa, graduated from the great university, not University of Iowa, Iowa State University. And
Cyclones.
Go Cyclones. And I found myself engaged to a military guy. And I moved down to Florida and I worked a few corporate jobs and realized really quickly with his deployment schedule, this wasn't the life I wanted to live. I wanted to travel when he was gone and when he was home. I wanted to be home when he was home, all that. And so I quit my cushy healthcare corporate finance job and became what we all know now as a virtual assistant. But this was 14 years ago. This didn't exist back then the way it does
infancy.
now.
Yeah.
Very much. And I didn't even realize what I was doing. Like I didn't know that you could, offer services and get paid for it outside of a W-2 until I learned the word entrepreneur. And that's not even what that is. That's freelancing. But a whole new world opened up to me and I just took off. I got really good at helping online business owners stay organized and handle their day-to-day ops and started making money, started traveling, and fellow military spouses started saying, how do I do what you do? And I kept saying the same thing over and over. And so what do? You create a course, which turned into Virtual Assistant Academy, a certification program to professionalize this path, this entry-level path for online operators. And then a placement agency was birthed from it, which is Virtual Assistant Management. And now I support high-level clients and run those businesses. So it's been awesome.
So your role in the VA space, virtual assistant space, is kind of like an ops manager, a COO.
Now I'm what you would, some clients call me their outsourced COO. Some people I'm their, I work with a software predominantly called Kajabi. And so I run the back end of those systems. I'm a business partner to the former founder of Chicken Soup for the Soul. So I run her whole business. I do a lot. I'm really efficient. I got my hands in a lot of pots, but it's so cool that becoming a virtual assistant a long time ago led me into a much higher role within businesses. And that's what I like to tell
Absolutely. Because it's as a founder of multiple myself, it is very, I don't know if the word's difficult or just I don't want to do it, to try to stay organized and keep track of everything that's happening. And, to try to find somebody to be able to do that either in person or remotely can free up so much time. It's like, I think back of hiring my first employee. Would that be 7 years ago? I hired her at 20 hours a week. She took 40 off of my plate just because I wasn't efficient in doing all of those things. And it's like everybody, I see it all the time. Everybody hems and haws, about, I don't know if I have the cash flow or the whatever to hire somebody. It's like you do, you'll make it work and you will benefit from it because it frees up so much more time of something that you don't want to do. Somebody else can do it more efficiently and keep you in check. Now you're energized for all your, whether it's professional related meetings or fun time that you want to have. I cannot stress enough how awesome it is to have somebody take care of, I'll call it the back office crap. You've made a career out of it. I think of it as back office crap because I hate doing it and I'm not efficient at it. And it's like, I used to do it sitting on my couch with a laptop, watching TV after the kids gone to bed. And it's like, that's when I'm handling these other things. And like that was
Mhm.
such a bad use of time.
Yep.
I could have been sleeping, but instead it was 1 in the morning and I'm doing compliance reports or bookkeeping or whatever else. So, as so how long have you, I mean, you've done this for how long now?
14 years, 14 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. I say
So
15,
think
round
back
up.
to 15 years ago and look at where you're at now. How have
Mhm.
you been able to kind of take this and not only scale your own personal life, but also bring in other, military spouses or whomever else? How have you made, both sides of that scalable?
Yeah, so 2 things come to mind. One is I never stopped learning the next software, the next tool that a business owner needs to know. All the tech is kind of where I live and I love, and that's allowed me to really scale my own personal offerings and services that I offer to business owners, but then also applying the same principles I do to a business owner of creating a system and a process to run a business, I applied to my own system and was able to create that business for myself. So I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur and running a VA agency, right? Ever. Some days I don't even identify as that. I'm such a freelancer, right?
Well, you're
So,
not from the Philippines, and that's what
yeah.
everybody expects, right?
Yes. So yeah, it was just keeping those things in mind. I mean, and being really good at it, like getting really, really good at what I do.
You don't have to be good at a lot. If you can be good at a little and be really, really good at it, there's a spot
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
So you live in the kind of the tech integration space. How much time would you say, just ballparking, not looking to like, hey, specific examples, but how much time would you say utilizing tech integrations saves you? I mean, or maybe you can give an example of being like, hey, this is what I used to do, and then I integrated this tech, and it
Okay.
was like, boom.
Yeah, I mean, take our new friend who I call Chatty, but ChatGPT, right? A new software that was all available to us, AI, right? I used to take at least a week to build a website. Now I can do it in a day. I'm
Yeah,
still building on Kajabi and building the platform and designing myself, but to be able to just get the code that I need or ask it for copy suggestions or questions, I can just move super fast in one day.
it's. I assume you've played around with Google Labs a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some.
I mean, there is so much stuff in Google Labs, like
Uh-huh.
even down to like, hey, what should I do for dinner tonight? And it's like, okay, I want to serve a main course for 2 or 4 or 5 people, and I want to blend these two together. And all of a sudden it spits out this thing with a picture and all the ingredients and the preparation recipe right there. You're like, okay, that'll take me 75 minutes and I need to go to the store. So it'll take me 2 hours to do dinner, whatever.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
you don't have to
Yeah.
think about anything. And I mean, you still have to think about things. That's a bad example, but it's amazing how much more efficient we can be when utilizing the technology and now AI tools.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in the last, what, year or two, AI has come, I can't even put a number on how many leaps and bounds it's made. It's like there's those videos out there of like the dog running through the fence that are AI generated through the poles like an obstacle
Yeah.
course. And it's like they did Sora and then Sora 2. Like you could tell the dog had 5 legs at one point in Sora 1. You can't tell in Sora 2, and that's 1 year.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing. It's
now we have
exciting.
to be careful about what's online. Okay, is this real? Because I
Yeah.
have no idea. It's become so good.
Yeah, yeah, and what I keep telling assistants and business owners that are hiring is AI can do this, and yes, they can definitely do a lot of the things that I used to do. However, you need an operator that's gonna work with AI, so that's what I'm telling everyone. Hire assistants that are using AI because they can do 10 times what they used to do for you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, AI, everybody is afraid of AI, I think. They're like,
Yeah,
oh, what's AI going to end up being? We have no
true.
idea, but I mean, right now, it's a hell of a tool to be able to just augment the human capacity.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
I utilize it daily in both the finance and the tax firms, whether it's for copy or to review IRS code. It's like, instead of
Yeah,
me going to a freaking, you know, book that's as wide as this building, hey, what are the codes for this piece? And you have to double check them because they're not perfect yet. But it's like, hey, here's the IRS tax law in relation to this piece of code. Here it all is in bullet points, as opposed to going and searching your own reference material that would have taken hours, you can now do in seconds or minutes.
Absolutely.
Point being, don't be afraid of AI. Utilize it to its potential. So,
Agreed.
how often are all of your like assistants per se that you are overseeing utilizing AI for their clientele?
I think everyone's starting to adopt at a minimum ChatGPT, and then as graphics and things are getting better, we're starting to use those because we get asked to do a lot of social media work, things like that.
Aha, yes. And so I guess when you're utilizing AI, how deep down the rabbit hole are you, or is everybody getting? I mean, yes, using ChatGPT is great, but I would say that's on the kind of the broader end.
Right. Right. I think some are using it to, there's some AI tools out there that are building websites in seconds or auto using email. So there's Fixer AI that's going in your inbox before you are. I have a lot of assistants that are using that. So there's some unique tools that they're starting to use and play with. I think the confidence, we're still kind of on that. And I think that's what 2026 is going to be all about with our
Yeah.
assistants.
Have you used Fixer AI? Because I mean, it's on my feeds all the time, and I'm like, I should probably try this, and I haven't yet because I'm like, I don't want some random
No.
bot in my email.
Yeah, I have used it. I'm such a control freak on how I want things done that I kicked it out pretty quickly. But the other day I was actually just looking at it. I'm like, I got to give this another go because I have friends that love it.
So what, for in the AI for Dummies book, what does Fixer AI do?
Fixer AI goes into your inbox and auto responds, but doesn't send it. Auto responds to your emails and starts to create a voice and how you would respond as the more you use it. It I believe, deletes like the junk email and gets to know your patterns with that. And then it'll sort things accordingly. So what's high priority, what's medium, low. It does way more than that. I feel silly speaking to it because I haven't used it on a day to day.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah.
Just I look at the red 1800 emails
Yeah. That
here
gives me
there's no way
anxiety.
that I'm going to be, ever getting to those. Because at first I tried to keep it under 40. And then there was like a period of time where I got sick for a week and it like ballooned to 1500. And I'm like, well, never going to go back and see those.
Yeah. You need an assistant.
I need an AI. I need something in there.
Yeah.
So if you look back on, the 15 years you've been doing this, everybody defines success differently, but what would you think of as your biggest successes, whether that be the academy or your personal growth?
Uh, a few. I think my personal and my freelance work, getting asked to speak at a tech company, Kajabi, which I talk about all the time. If you don't know what Kajabi is, it's an all-in-one platform to run your business, and I love it. So got to speak at that company. That was a really big accomplishment, and now I do some work for them and their clients, and that's really great. And then I think also shifting my business model to, with the help of AI, to do more in one day than I could ever do in one week. So I'm able to offer my services in really short bursts of time and get a lot done for clients that would have taken 4 months in the past because they drag their feet. And it's like just creating these new processes. I'm like, wow, I'm able to earn really well and then have my downtime. Like that's my success. Like I can earn and be so proud of something and then unplug and go travel and know that I've made my money, and that's been really
And
great.
you don't necessarily have to be tied to
No,
this all the
no.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like time is a big factor in your kind
That
of measure of
yes,
success.
thank you, and that is literally why I quit my corporate job because 10 days of vacation, 6 holidays. I was like, "This isn't enough time for me to live my life." I'm a world traveler, I travel all the time. Married to an airline pilot, so it helps, and, I wanna be able to go. I wanna have fun and live life, so
You get
completely.
to see, all right. So, what's the coolest place you've ever been?
The coolest?
Or I guess what's at the top of your list of places you visited?
I get asked this all the time, it depends on my mood. Croatia was really great. I've been to Australia several times, went to school there for a while. Thailand, I mean, I everywhere. I was
So
just in
all
Japan.
the big name ones that are on top of every travel list, it seems.
Yeah, yeah. Croatia, if you're going to Europe, I highly recommend.
Any specific parts?
We did the whole
Dubrovnik?
Dubrovnik's amazing. I really like the Zagreb, which is kind of on the coast.
Yep,
Yep. Kinda do the whole I rented a car in Zadar and drove all the way down to Dubrovnik, and then we flew to Oktoberfest, which is another thing everyone should go do in Munich. So,
absolutely, and you have to get
the Lederhosen.
the lederhosen. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. If you're
Yep.
gonna go, you gotta play the part, you know? It's
Absolutely.
what do they say? It "Fake it till you make it," right? So,
Yep. Gotta do it. It's one of the best days of my life was at Oktoberfest. I had so much fun. It's great.
funny, my parents are in Africa right now doing a safari,
Yes.
and, they sent a picture today of their group, and it was like my brother and sister are on the thread as well. They're like, "Oh, everybody's dressed, like, the same." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you have to wear,
Tan?
well, tan or greens, basically, stuff that blends in with the background. You can't wear blues, you can't wear whites or bright colors."
Okay.
And but, I mean, they're sending through pictures of, a jaguar up in a tree with an antelope, you know,
It's amazing.
gutted, you're just like, "Holy smoke, nature is metal."
Yeah. Yeah, that's high on my list.
I mean, it's been almost 2 weeks now, and it's every day they've been sending through some pretty amazing photos, and you're like, "Holy smokes," like, this is just it's foreign to us, right? We don't have that stuff here in the States, but
Mhm.
to them, it's normal. One of the lodges they were staying at was in a national park, and they're like, "Don't go out at night so you don't become a meal." But, I mean, there's literally elephants in there right in front of their room or their house that they were staying in,
Amazing.
and hyenas right over here, giraffes right over there. You're like, "Whoa, that's just normal." Kind of like if we were camping and saw, eagle and a coyote and a bear.
Yep. Yep. I love
It's
it.
just wild to me. I mean,
I
that's
can't
but
wait.
that is cool.
I
That's
can't
now
wait.
definitely on my list. I've been invited to go on a hunting safari in, like, March, and I'm like,
Tax season.
I know, I'm like, "That's a I can't." I already said I can't go, but I'm just like, "Holy smokes, this would be awesome."
Yeah. I just wrote Africa 2026, so
Mhm.
wanna do that.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Yep, so they flew into Joburg and then did Zimbabwe, Botswana, and some other place.
Very cool.
But, yeah, if you want some information, the travel agency they worked through is who
Love
they've
it.
done other U of M Alumni Association stuff with,
Very
and
cool.
it's always top notch, very well put together.
Awesome.
So, all right, so time is high up on the success list, getting time back to do things for yourself. Any other big successes that you would consider?
I think there's the success of impacting 150. Mostly I've had 2 men in my program, so I'm not gonna say all women, but, um,
Predominantly women.
yeah, moms, military spouses, a mix of that, and hearing stories like, "Took your course, got a client, and now I can take my family to Disney World," or, "I'm so happy because I can drive my 18-year-old to college and be there that week." Like, creating time for them to be present, but also earn an income for their family the way that I was able to do as a young person and figure this out has been I didn't set out to do it. I was like, "Whoa, I made an impact there. I didn't even know that." And so that hearing those stories and getting that from people has been really
Sure.
amazing.
Yeah, and and there's so much gratitude that goes around when you help somebody
Mhm,
else. It's like
mhm,
you know, they're doing the work, they're doing their own thing. They're grateful to you for introducing them to that. But, I mean, it's like this snowball effect of things that are not outside or are outside your control that you're impacting that you really didn't even think about before. It's like it goes so far without you even really having to. I mean, you've done all the work, but without having to, continually, be on top of them and do these things.
mhm, mhm.
It's all, and I hear this a lot with, I'm going to say, more of the online business community, that, like, that is one of the big success pieces that they benchmark themselves against. How many other people have I helped, you know, attain whatever it is was important to them?
Yeah,
So kudos
yeah.
to you, because
Thank
that's
you.
that's a big one for
Yeah,
sure.
that's good.
If we completely flip the script, though, I'm sure this hasn't been easy to get off the ground and scale. So, I mean, if you look back on the last 15 years, what would you have done differently? Like, what have been the biggest struggles, and what would you have done differently over the course of your career?
Oh, tons.
Pop quiz, pop quiz,
Um,
Molly.
I think from the get-go would have I would have, invested more, and I did this later on, like weekly or biweekly calls with assistants to get them up to speed faster, because things are changing so fast with technology. I think just, the structure of the product would have been something I would have been more intentional about, but I've learned a lot about online courses and business along the way to how I could do that differently and plan to. I'd say the hardest struggle I'm having right now, honestly, though, is now because post COVID was amazing. People learned to work online. We were booming. And now, as things are settling down and AI is taking over, people are becoming more efficient on their own and not needing assistance, which is great. So it's really about positioning our assistants now to how we are working with it. And you still need us. You just don't need us as much for as many hours. So we need more clients and to fit our schedules. But it's this weird time right now. And so I'm curious to see what happens next.
You're kind of being pushed into the corner to either adopt and change, or die a slow death. No, and that's, I mean, I think every type of business is in that right
Yeah.
now. I mean, not every type. I mean, there's certain things that AI can't do. They can't do surgery. They can't argue in court, but they sure as hell can help you write the briefs. And they sure as hell can help you with the strategy for tumor removal. It'll be interesting, I think, over the next 5 years. I think by 2030, early 2030s, there's going to be a massive adoption of all this stuff. And the people who don't are going to be the ones that circle the drain and go.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
So, I mean, it's how do let's say of all the assistants that you manage, are there certain business verticals that you are predominantly in?
I get asked this all the time. No, I've tried to think like, how can we niche down? What is it? We've helped everything from financial service companies to realtors to speaker, author, coach type people to authors to nonprofits, healthcare organization. I mean, everywhere because the tasks kind of stay the same. That entry level, manage my email, get my schedule straight, confirm my appointments, book my travel, upload my blogs or write an article or put something on social, they stay the same for everyone. So no, we haven't. We haven't.
So you
And
haven't
that might
had to niche down
no.
extremely.
No, but you asked me that question, what would I do differently? That might be it. I might have gone into one industry specific and become the go-to source for that. That probably would have helped.
Because I mean, how do you acquire clients currently?
A lot of it's word of mouth and referrals. So I've a pretty big network where I go to events and people say, I need an assistant. And my name gets thrown around because a lot of people don't do what I do. So there's that. And then they refer each other. And then talking to people like you on podcasts, we have a great process where we do a discovery call with those that are ready and decide if you're a right fit. And we say no to people. We're not just taking everyone we can. You got to be ready
The
to
shortest
work with
sentence in
someone.
the English language.
No, yes,
No, it is a complete sentence.
you're right. You should
And
use it.
it's kind of crazy how many people struggle with that,
Yes.
especially when you're first starting.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's like, okay, if you can fog a mirror, you can be a client.
Yeah, I
I
was
would
there.
argue that that can be more detrimental than
Absolutely.
accretive
Yep.
to your business.
But you can only say that if you've lived it, unfortunately.
Correct. Correct. Been there, done that. Nobody's going to listen to it, because everybody's going to, well, I need to do this to get revenue to do X. And you're like,
Yeah.
true. They're an awful fit. You're not going to like them, and you're going to put either way too much time into them, or they're going to leave you it goes back to the word of mouth thing, right? If you do something good for one person, they'll tell another one or two people. You do
Mhm.
something that's perceived as bad, they're going to tell everybody they can.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And with everything online nowadays, that stuff spreads like wildfire.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So it's like you have to know what you do, you have to do it well, and you have to know who you do it for. I mean,
Yes, I
even
agree.
if it is, all those different people, it's like, why do we do it for all these people? Because the tasks in theory are very, very similar, if not identical.
Yeah.
So easily repetitive, right?
Yes. I always
Whereas,
say you can niche in your target, right? The type of client you wanna have, or you can niche in your service offering.
yep,
So, that's kind of the direction I'm going this year. Like, let's pick 1 to 2 softwares that you can master and become the expert in that, and then offer that to clients because I think
Sure.
that's kind of where we're headed.
So, like, how big is your tech stack per se when you're dealing with these people? Like, I mean, I look at mine and I've got, probably 20, 30 programs that I run at least weekly.
Yeah. If you work with me, you run off of 3 to 4, but clients coming into our ecosphere have 13 plus usually. That's what we ask, and they just go and go and go, and I'm like, "Okay, you don't need all this. You're inefficient."
Yep. Well, I mean, it'd
Most
be
of the time.
interesting to see like what Kajabi really can do. Cause it's like,
Uh-huh.
take my firms, for example, right? I've got a CRM for the tax firm. I've got a CRM for the finance firm.
Yeah.
Then I've got, okay, this preparation software. I've got this analytics software. I've got this, and it's just boom, 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 boom. I'm sure probably 4 or 5 of them can be done by Kajabi, especially if it's got like a file sharing and depository piece on the back end. I've got a system for that. It may or may not link to my CRM. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's a pretty inefficient piece. And I've got 2 of them, right? One for each firm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're like, okay, how can we make this more efficient? And is it really that much better than all the individual systems because it's not broken, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and in your situation, you have the software to actually provide the service to the client, the thing,
Correct.
um, and and those are needed, but I think always looking at efficiency, we're coming upon a new year, like, what is all the things we're subscribed to? Do we need
God,
it or not?
I don't
Can we
want to go down that
condense?
road because it's a lot.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
Mhm.
I mean, I had Lauren, a couple of months ago put together, here is everything that we are paying for on a recurring
Good,
basis. And I was like, whoa, cut that, cut that, cut
good.
that, cut that, and then just deal with it because there's a lot of overlap.
Mhm.
Either any way you slice it, it's like, yes, this thing is supposed to be for this, but it also has remnants of these other things, which are done by this, this, and this. Which one of these can we combine, or which 2 of these can we combine to try to make it, 1, from a financial standpoint, cut the expense, but 2, from an efficiency
Yes,
standpoint,
that's more
can I
important.
go to one or 2 spots instead of 4 or 5?
Mhm. Yep, and 9 times out of 10, you can.
I would probably say 10 times out of 10 you can, and there's like a point 0.1 time where you can't, and it's a very specific piece that does one thing that you have to have for one business.
Mhm. Mhm. True.
So as you're bringing on, new VA candidates or, new VA people, what does your onboarding process look like? I mean, who are the people that are going to be most well fit for joining your agency?
Yes. So, all of our VAs are certified through the program. So I have my stamp of approval on them for 90% of the time. Uh, the business owners that are looking for VAs are, I always say, you're a solopreneur usually, and you started your business for a specific reason. This you wanted to do tax services. We'll use you as an example in that piece of your business. But along the way, you realized, oh, I have to have a website and articles and social media, and I have to do billing and bookkeeping for myself and customer service. And, I could go on and on, email support and scheduling and all the things. And you realize, I just want to do the tax prep and services.
I want
That's
to
what
do
I
what
do.
I'm good at, right?
And so when you reach that point and you start to earn revenue, that you should start to outsource the things that you're especially incompetent at, like you should really not be doing. And then even the things you're competent at that you're just not good at, right? Like go. And that's how that that's kind of what I tell new business owners, like, and you're either doing it to either free up your time to go get more business, or you're doing it to free up your time to get your life back to go to dance and soccer later without your phone in your hand, right?
Yep. The
So
phone will be in
that's
my hand for sure,
right.
but at least it'll be like scrolling social media or something
Sure.
instead of dealing with,
Watching 7-year-old girls dance or however. Um,
hip hop nonetheless.
hey. So I
So it's
think that's
very,
a good eye opener for business owners to be like, I've done it. I created a business and I was like, I'm miserable. I'm doing all these other things and I just want to do this. And so you have to start to create that relief for yourself. Years will go by.
so do you hire a VA for your own businesses?
I have I have assistants for specific things.
Okay.
So I do. a lot of client work, and I'm like, "You're my second person to help build courses, right?" Or yeah,
So you do drink your own, or you do eat your own
I
cooking.
do. I
Yeah,
do.
good,
Yep.
good. So as you look back and say, okay, somebody wants to either get in or excel into this business, what, or any business for that matter, what advice would you have for aspiring entrepreneurs to say, okay, here, and you've already given some, say, hey, once you've started getting revenue, you should start outsourcing some of these pieces that one, you're incompetent, or two, not good at, three, don't want to. But, what other advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, let's say earlier on in their careers, what would Molly have them focus on to say this is increases your chance of success moving forward?
Yes, lots. So, for starters, learn to do the things that your business needs yourself first, because if that person disappears, you can still operate for the most part. A lot of stuff will change as you bring someone in, but you know the foundation of it. And before you need an assistant, start documenting what you need. Use Loom or Descript, or there's tons of tools now that will just record, this is how I publish the podcast. This is how I clean out my inbox every morning at 10 a.m., or this is how I send the invoice. And just create this training deck that you're doing anyway, that when you onboard someone, they have to do it your way, the way you want something done, if it needs to be your way. And I think that's a good place to start, to kind of just do that. And then I also think the most successful business owners that come to us are clear. I mean, the most successful business owners are clear. That's just a statement. Have clarity in what they do, who they do, and who they do it for, what they do, how they do it, and who they do it for. As you said before, you probably wouldn't be surprised.
I would
That's
not be.
There's so many people that can't answer that question, and so when they come into our ecosphere and we're like, well, okay, so how is an assistant supposed to be set up for success to help you? They can't even clarify. Well, I have all these things and I'm doing all this and I'm doing all this. So you have to take the time to set up your systems. How do you operate? What's your day-to-day operations? And then how can someone help you? And we can help you do that too. But those are the most successful before you get a VA situation. Yep.
Yeah, and I look at it now like I've been in the businesses for what, 20 years, and only started my own 7, 8 years ago. But you look at who I've worked with, hundreds and hundreds of people over the last 20 years. Who are the successful ones? It's the ones that can articulate clearly and in a very short period of time, like you said before, what it is they do, how they do it, and who they do it for. And then also internally, what do you need help with? How do you do it? What do you need help with? And how can that benefit both you and the person potentially taking that role?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because I've gone through that struggle trying to do that, but with not doing it myself first. And it's a slog because you're like, now you're working off of somebody else's framework or somebody else's thought process, and it might not add up to yours. So, like you said, you should do it first because then you at least know what's happening and you know what needs to get done. You might not be the most efficient at it, and somebody else can help you, you know, do something better.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you have an idea of here's point A, here's point B, here's my way of getting there. It can get done in a pinch.
Yep. Absolutely. And then when you outsource, relinquish the control, which is very hard. I know that firsthand.
Yep.
What is the outcome you're tasking them with? It doesn't matter how they get there. Just get there efficiently. That's also something I repeat over and over and over again.
Sometimes it feels like you're banging your head against a wall.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you can lead a horse to water.
Yeah. Oh, we say that too.
Yep. Yep.
Can't make
All the
them do it.
time. The human psychology is a wonderful and also infuriating thing
Absolutely.
because yeah, you're like, hey, we set out this, let's do this, this, and this. And then it's like, okay, we get here. And then it just stalls because whether it's you, somebody else, the client is not following through on their end. You're like, okay, we missed the expectation there. So how do we kind of reel it in, bring it back, move
Yep.
forward?
Yes.
So, we usually start to wind down episodes, by giving guests the floor. Give as much time as you want to kind of leave a message to our listeners, whether it's something you care about, something you're passionate about, how to get in touch with you, etc. It's your time to have the floor and give our listeners a little bit extra of what Molly Road Speed has to offer.
Okay, awesome. So I think what I'll leave you with is if you are a business owner listening to this and you're nodding your head to some of the I don't have any time or I started my business for this and now I'm doing the 27 other things that you listed throughout this podcast. It doesn't have to be that way. And knowing that you can outsource to, we didn't even talk about offshore VAs, but if you're on a budget and you need something repeatable and specific, you can go offshore. And it's a fraction of the cost. Just make sure you're very specific about the tasks that you outsource there. I get asked this a lot.
100%. And I can speak to that firsthand. Offshore is very different than onshore.
Mhm.
I'm going to
Mhm.
just
Yep.
kind of put that out there. Offshore, you have to, like, literally, they will not do something if it's not on a checklist. Even if it is intuitive to a 5-year-old, they will not do it.
Yeah. And it's not because they don't know how. A lot of it's they're respecting they want to do things properly and correct and with permission. And so that's,
But it
I
can also
use,
be infuriating,
they can.
because you're like,
So just
you
know what you're
know,
paying for. And that's why I push for US based virtual assistants. Military spouses are my thing. And, if you need someone that's going to come into your business and become hopefully a partner, not a legitimate partner, but care about your business in a way that you do. And someone that, I have my clients' email accounts, credit card accounts, personal data information that you shouldn't have. I could steal their identity tomorrow. That kind of trust has been built with several of my clients over the years, and that exists in several relationships that I've helped create with our agency. So if you're looking for, that person to come in and take a lot of that off your plate, kind of be your second in command, a jack of all trades at this point, a virtual assistant's a great next step. I say again, if you're on a budget, I just want to be resourceful for people. Create that job description and what is the clarity that you're looking for? What are the tasks that you want off of your plate? What is your tech stack? We talked about that. How many hours do you think you need? How many hours do you think you're gonna need as they grow into it? Your budget. And, a lot of times, if you start sharing this with people in your network, you're going to find someone's sister is this, or someone's wife who just got off maternity leave, or the kid goes into preschool. It's time to pick up a part time
get
job.
back in the workforce. Yeah.
This happens all the time. If you need someone that's polished and certified and has gone through a program, we offer that through virtual assistant management. Virtualassistantmanagement.com is our website. So we do discovery calls and happy to talk through that for those that kind of have what I just explained, like be clear, be ready, and we can help guide you through that process. And then for those listening that might think, oh, I am that stay-at-home mom who kid just went to preschool, or I'm a military spouse, or I'm an individual who just doesn't want to work in corporate cubicle dweller syndrome of America. That was me. We have Virtual Assistant Academy, which truly is the entry to point to how I've made well over 6 figures just serving clients throughout the years, learning, growing, traveling the world with clients. I mean, I've done tons of stuff
But on your terms.
just because I did this.
Yeah. And not having to necessarily go into a location, punch a clock, look at fluorescent lights,
Right.
and follow somebody else's agenda.
Yep. Doesn't
And I
have
will
to be that
say,
way.
you are. I've interviewed a handful of, I'm going to call it VA type businesses on this podcast, and one, you're the only one that's U.S. based. Two, you're the only one that starts to incorporate basically and train the client.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, as opposed to just taking on the outsource piece. It's like, hey, you need to do all these. Here's what you need to do. Here's all the things that come into making this a successful partnership. And so it's piqued my interest for sure.
Good.
Just as somebody who's used it before, not you specifically, but has used a program like it before and has always wanted to find a US based, maybe for more niche things than you're offering, but who knows? I mean, at least it's a conversation starter.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
always suggest, that you give somebody like Molly a chance here because they can do a lot. I've done both the in-person and the virtual stuff. If you want any time back, you will get leaps and bounds more time back than you're paying for. So it's a
Absolutely.
very, very, very worthy investment.
Yep.
So
Thanks.
just as a quick recap there, how can our listeners get in touch with you and find out more about Virtual Assistant Academy and Virtual Assistant Management?
Yeah. So easiest thing is mollyrosespeed.com is my website, my catch-all. If you want to fill out my contact form of a specific question, or on Instagram, mollyrosespeed. And then virtualassistantmanagement.com is our placement agency. And you can find the academy on my website.
Perfect. All right. Well, as you know, my name is Derek DeLomo. I'm the owner of both Tremonti Financial Consultants and Tremonti Tax Solutions, together referred to as Tremonti. Tremonti bridges the gap between financial advisors and accountants by serving as CFO to our clients. We specifically love to work with business owners to develop a proactive tax strategy that maximizes after-tax profits. It's our job to help you earn more, be more efficient, grow faster, and pay as little in taxes as legally possible. If this idea piques your interest, please go to TremontiTax.com and book a 15-minute chat with me. With all that said, Molly Rose, it was really good talking to you today, and I hope you had a good time.
Thanks so much, Derek.
For those listening, if you enjoyed today's episode and had a few helpful takeaways, we'd love for you to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and share this episode with other business-minded friends. This has been another episode of the Traversing Entrepreneurship podcast. We had fun today and hope you did too. Thanks again, Molly, for being here, and thank you for tuning in and listening. Peace.
This podcast is presented by Tremonti Financial Consultants, LLC. The firm is registered as an investment advisor and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor does not constitute an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators, nor does it indicate that the advisor has attained a particular level of skill or ability. The information presented is believed to be current. It should not be viewed as personalized investment advice. All expressions of opinion reflect the judgment of the presenter on the date of the podcast and are subject to change. You should consult with a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies discussed. Content should not be viewed as an offer to buy or sell any of the securities mentioned or as legal or tax advice. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation. Different types of investments involve higher and lower levels of risk. There is no guarantee that a specific investment or strategy will be suitable or profitable for an investor's portfolio. There are no assurances that a portfolio will match or exceed any particular benchmark. All investment strategies can result in profit or loss.